Hello and welcome to the sixth and final part of my series about getting started with LEGO 12-volt trains. If you haven't watched the first 5 parts of this series, I highly recommend that you watch them because they include important information about buying and running your first 12-volt train. The previous 5 parts included information about your first few purchases, but this part is going to be detailing some overall long-term strategies for purchasing 12-volt trains. The format for this video is going to be a little bit different since I haven't made a video like this before, so stick with me. I think one of the most important things to figure out first is what you want out of 12-volt sets. A really good piece of advice I got from a known 12-volt collector is to have a clear idea of what's important to you. For you, the viewer, that's unique to you. You may be looking just to have a running setup and not care about components such as box and instructions, or you may want to purchase sets in absolute pristine condition. Once you've figured out what's really important to you, then it will be much easier to decide what to buy and what not to buy. I'm going to be going more in depth into the two ends of the purchasing spectrum. The way I see it, these two extremes are as follows. One extreme is if you really care about just having a running setup and maybe want to spend a little less. With this outlook, probably owning the box, instructions, resting sticker sheet, and maybe even set completeness and part originality isn't that important to you. You're just looking to have something that will run on the track and look nice. The other extreme is if you're a collector who wants to have sets in the best condition possible, preferably near mint. With this outlook, it's important for you to own the box, inlays, instructions, resting sticker sheet, and you want the sets that you buy to be 100% complete with original parts. I should make it very clear that these are the two extremes of the spectrum. You can collect at any point in between. I'll be going over the basics, pros and cons, where to purchase, and what to purchase. Additionally, I will not be covering the purchase of sealed sets in this video because most people will consider those in a separate category of collecting. The first end of the collecting spectrum that I will detail is what I'm calling the budget approach. This approach constitutes purchasing sets that may not have all the extra components, those being box, instructions, and stickers plus sticker sheet, and may not be complete or have non-original parts. If you care more about the trains themselves than the extra components and quality and want to have more trains while paying less, this would be the better end of the spectrum for you. A pretty obvious upside to this approach is that you will overall spend much less per train. With this approach, you'll be buying trains at the entry price tier. However, with that comes a pitfall. Buying sets at the lowest price tier comes with its own problems. Although the bricks may be complete, these sets almost always will be missing components like stickers and instructions. You'd be extremely lucky to get the box. Additionally, the quality of the bricks may be poor with scratches, marks, and discoloration. These trains are 40 years old after all. Most importantly, you may be dealing with subpar electric components, and needless to say, those can get expensive to replace, especially the motors. Good places to look if you're taking this approach would be, of course, Bricklink and eBay. On Bricklink, you'll want to look for the lower price sets, but try to find ones that are in good condition. Of course, always ask the seller for more pictures. On eBay, sometimes you can find sets that are cheaper than Bricklink's options. Additionally, if you get lucky, you may find a seller who isn't aware of the value of what they're selling and just found some sets in storage. In that case, be sure to snap up that deal quickly because those listings sell fast. Sometimes you can find a lot of several incomplete sets for much less than their true value. You may be able to find sets on local auction sites, but they may not ship to your country. I should add here that I have found a lot of really good deals on local European auction sites, such as like eBay, I think it's pronounced eBay Kleinanzeigen, and like the local eBay and the country regional eBay sites. Like here in the US, we use ebay.com, but there's like ebay.co.uk for the UK, ebay.de for Germany, because some of those listings will not show up in the United States eBay because the sellers won't ship to my country. And I found a lot of other good local auction sites in Europe, but I can't create an account on those because I need to live in Europe and the sellers won't ship internationally. But I found a lot of really good deals, maybe like an incomplete set or a lot of incomplete sets that are being sold for much less than they would be sold for on Bricklink or eBay. Don't expect the sets that you purchase at this price tier to be in amazing condition because most likely the seller will be someone who doesn't know how to maintain 12-volt trains. Overall, this approach to purchasing 12-volt trains will save you a lot of money, which can be a great advantage, but it sacrifices set quality. The other end of the collecting spectrum that I will detail is what I'm calling the collector's approach, and it constitutes purchasing sets of high quality levels. This approach is best suited for people who want to experience 12-volt trains like they were back in the 1980s. Extra components, those being box, instructions, and stickers plus resting sticker sheet, will be important, and having sets in top condition, preferably with original parts, is key. The advantage of using this purchasing strategy is that the sets you own will be in top condition, as close to new as possible if you make smart purchase options. And of course, the disadvantage is that you'll end up paying much more per set, sometimes more than double or triple the price for a train set compared to its entry-level price tier. Supplemental sets, especially electric accessories, aren't super expensive and very good condition, but you start to run into supply issues with some of the rare sets like freight loading depots and of course train sets. These vintage sets are 40 years old at this point, and while the set alone isn't so rare, finding a set in very good condition, complete with the extra components, can be quite difficult. Any complete box is extremely rare to find, and the plastic tray lids are definitely the rarest parts. Like the other end of the collecting spectrum, you'll want to check Bricklink, eBay, and local auction sites, but instead of looking at the lowest price sets, the higher end is where you should check. Again, I've additionally found on local auction sites, like all around Europe, sets that have been in like really good condition, like with complete boxes and everything, like the resting sticker sheet, the instructions, all the stickers, all the parts in really good condition, maybe even like a almost new motor, but because I can't create an account, I'm not able to purchase those, and I really wish I was, but I can't. I should restate the fact that train sets can get very expensive. To find a train set complete in very good condition, including all of its extra components, instructions, stickers, and sticker sheet, plus most importantly a complete box, will usually cost you upwards of $400 for the cheaper ones, and some of the rarer sets such as 7750 can be over twice that. If you're purchasing trains with this approach in mind, most likely you'll be buying from a seller who knows what they're doing and probably maintains their sets, meaning the overall quality is much better than the other approach. But again, they will be charging a premium for the sets of this quality level. Overall, this approach to purchasing 12-volt trains is much more expensive, but if you purchase strategically, you'll end up with sets in top condition. Those two approaches are how I see the ends of the collecting spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, you pay significantly less, but are probably getting sets without extra components, and on the other end, you pay a premium, but will own sets in very nice condition. Although I have had a fair bit of experience with buying 12-volt trains, this is purely subjective, so don't take what I say as fact. You can of course collect at any level in between. Again, the most important thing is to know what you personally want to get out of 12-volt trains. Maybe it's important to have the set complete with stickers and instructions, but you don't care about the sticker sheet or box. Maybe you do want the box, but inlays aren't important to you. Just keep in mind the fact that typically, the more you pay, the better condition the set will be in, and the more extra components you'll get. This may not always be true. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can find sets that may be in very good condition at the lower end of the pricing scale, though probably without the box. However, it's a pretty consistent pattern to follow. Overall, the rarest components of a set are the box inlays, with the rarest components being the plastic trays and extremely rare tray lids. Recently, I learned through pictures from an eBay auction that the 7727 box did originally come with a tray lid, and I thought that if anyone has this extremely rare component, they must be so lucky. I think that was the first time I saw a 7727 tray lid for sale, and even though the set in the auction was not complete and the box was a little damaged, it still ended up selling for nearly $500. Additionally, when purchasing a set from any seller, always make sure to ask for pictures if there aren't enough. Although most sellers will typically include a pretty accurate description in their listings, in this case, a picture really is worth 1,000 words. I always like to ask for pictures of all components included in the set if they're not already posted. Plus, it's important for me to ask for pictures of the bottom of the motor and the stickered parts. The bottom of the motor will provide you with a date, and you'll know if the motor is original to the set or not, and you can also check the metal contacts. Sometimes these contacts can get very worn and cause connection problems. The only way to fix this is to open the motor and replace the contacts from a certain service pack, which is very difficult and risky. I also ask for pictures of stickered parts because sometimes sellers will not check them, or stickers can be applied incorrectly or be in poor condition. For me personally, when I started collecting 12-volt trains, I was more towards the first end of the spectrum I detailed. I bought my 7745 for fairly cheap without the box and sticker sheet, but with all stickers and the instructions. However, I started to shift towards the other end because I realized that I wanted to have sets in top condition, even if that meant paying more. I don't view the first end as objectively worse. Money can legitimately be a large issue since these sets are already expensive, but I personally would much rather save for sets of high quality and with complete extra components. I purchased my 7730 for a premium because it had the rare tray lid and extra components in very nice condition. And I did find 2 sealed accessory deals for quite cheap, which I opened on video, and now I have copies of 7860 and 7862 in near mint condition. The only exception I've made to this approach is the 7750. Although I got the stickers, instructions, and outer box, I didn't get the resting sticker sheet or trays and tray lid. The reason for this is the 7750 can get ridiculously expensive with those components, and I had already found a very good deal with the set that I ended up purchasing. Now, I try to get sets in very nice condition, including complete boxes, even if that means paying more. I have nearly enough money to be able to purchase a train set in very good condition soon, so that may be farther down the track, pun intended, this summer. When you're purchasing 12-volt trains, a very important thing to do, and I cannot stress this enough, is to contact the seller and make sure you know exactly what you're getting. Always get pictures of everything you're purchasing and confirm the contents before you buy. Other than that, have fun while purchasing 12-volt sets. It's a unique experience, and the feeling you get when a train set finally arrives at your front door and you can open to test and build everything is unlike anything else. I really hope you've gained a lot of knowledge from watching these videos. This video marks the final part of my series about getting started with LEGO 12-volt trains, because I believe I've sufficiently explained necessary information for buying and running 12-volt trains, expanding your layout, and purchasing strategies. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. I try to check my comments regularly and am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. I truly enjoy learning about buying, building, and operating these rare vintage train sets, and I hope you can find the same appreciation for them. With that, I hope you enjoy your journey on the 12-volt track, and I will see you in my next video.